Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Natsu Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Season 2 finale of One Punch Man. Great season finale. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode. So let's break it down. We're immediately picking up where last episode left off, and Bong is putting in some work. He's landing all these blows, and yes, you still got to give it up to Garo that putting up the defense he is in the state he's in. Again, he is a beast being able to fight. He is strong. But the thing is, Bong outclasses him, obviously, even at his old age. Probably a very different conversation if it was a younger Bong. But, the fact is that he's leaning into him, landing all the blows. Even Garo is like, yo, I've never seen my master fight this fiercely before. He's almost like, yo, if I'm not careful, I will die. But it's because Bong is so determined to basically give Garo the ass whooping he deserves. It's like, I'm going to literally beat you down until I can basically knock some sense in you. This is the only way. And yes, he's doing all this, but he's still not going in for the death blow. He isn't he's hitting him hard because it's also he's sympathetic because this is my former disciple, one of my pupils. The fact of the matter is he's also in a weakened state, so I'm going to hit him hard and I'm going fiercely, but he's not. If he really wanted to lean into it, the technique him and Bomb, his brother, used later on would have been something you would have done, but their intention isn't to kill him. Their intention is just to beat him into submission. But he's severely getting outclassed, even trying to use Watchdog Man's techniques. Obviously didn't do jack squat because he tried to run away, and then Bomb got in the way. It was, hey, yo, I don't worry, bro, I dealt with all the monsters, so we will deal with Garo. And now they both double team whooping his ass. You're like, Jesus, but then we get flashbacks with Garo. We kind of now get a better understanding of why he is the way he is. What it really comes down to is he hates that people get stuck in the roles. Basically, the mask gets to decide what role you get to play. So it's there's one particular kid that was the popular kid. Tatsu wants to play heroes and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you want to play heroes too? He's like, sure. And then hey, let's justice kick, and he does something. Garo's like, oh, stop, that could be, that's very dangerous. You need to be careful. It's kind of mean doing what you're doing. And then Tatsu then kind of ostracized Garo. He kind of spread stuff, and people because he was so popular, people took Tatsu's side, and when they would play, it's oh, you have to play the villain, and they would beat him up. And even though Tatsu tries to attack and Garo moved, he's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to stand still. He's like, no, I didn't want to get hit. He's like, guys, hold Garo down while I attack him. And it's they treated him like crap. They bullied him, and they made it seem like he was the aggressor, like he was out of pocket, like he was being mean for no reason. And it's the teacher or whatever adult would be like, hey, yo, it's make-believe. Why are you taking it so seriously? Wasn't willing to listen to Garo. So, Tatsu was able to kind of influence other people to just ostracize him more. And when he was like, fine, if I win against a fair fight with you, Tatsu, you have to, leave me alone and stop messing with me so much. And, it'd be a fair fight. And then he had other kids hold him down while he did it. And then the teacher, the adult, chastises him even more, being like, how can you do that? You were the aggressor, yada, yada, yada. And for him, it's just he recognized the hypocrisy of it. Justice, good, evil. He's like, it's all bullshit. We're all cast in the roles that, there is no, real truth to all this. It's all and I think the hypocrisy behind all of it is also why he takes it out on the Hero Association, because for him it also plays into look at the people I fought. They weren't fighting me for real justice and stuff like that. They just he hates popular people, and he has that traumatic association with it, and why he wants to be strong, because he never wants to have to adhere to anyone's rules or standards of, well, this is what it's supposed to be, just because the general public boosts up and believes and loves heroes. It's but it's also he's I didn't mind playing the monster, but it's I didn't want to be boxed into this role of like, oh, you have to be this, oh, you have to play by my rules, because that's that made him the way he is. And you're like, well, this, but it's like when you're bullied like that and ostracized like that and no one listens to you and everyone believes the worst about you, of course that's going to like paint your very negative view of the world. And he kind of just felt like the world was built on some bullshit. And like I said, the Hero Association wasn't doing itself any favor, kind of reinforcing that with specifically how the Gatling and his team were handling things. That just reinforces that whole situation and just how the heroes kind of operate, reinforces that. It makes you wonder where Tatsu is now, and I wonder will him and Garo ever meet again, and just him to see, like, it's like, who knows where that kid is now. For all we know, he might be a hero, or maybe he's just some random guy just living his life now. Like, if you were to probably confront him now, maybe he's grown up to be a massive tool bag, or maybe he's like, yo, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done that, like, that was wrong of me, I realize, like, maybe he's a father now and realizes how much of a douchebag he was back then. Or there's a good, like I said, chance he just doubled down and became even more of a tool as an adult. So, it is a toss-up which way that could have gone. But who knows if we'll ever get that, like, confrontation that, like, Garo gets an opportunity to face the past in that capacity. Because, I mean, it's already set in stone. It's kind of forged the path that he's on now, and there's kind of potentially no pulling back from that. I mean, it's about, like, he might not be able to confront the past, but he might be able to kind of properly deal with it and find a way forward. Well, that just depends on where the future takes him going forward, but still. Will he be in a position to even want to change? It seems like he's very steadfast in his beliefs, and how much that kind of gets taken from him, his own agency going forward. Well, like I said, we'll have to see. But this fueled enough in him that despite being it 2-against-1, and he still is fighting back. And even, Baum admits, like, yeah, like if I was 60 years younger, I'd probably still be standing after everything I've been through. Probably. So it just remarks on how crazy powerful Garo is, that he does have, he is very skilled, he is talented, he didn't just rest on his laurels. He has been pushing himself, he is adapting, he is constantly getting stronger because he has that chip on his shoulder, he has something to prove. But in this moment that Garo pushes him back is just the moment Phoenix Man needed to push both of them and Genos back and swoop in and grab Garo and take off. And obviously Garo's not too happy about this situation, but also it was a situation he knew he would have lost and died, but he was ready to still fight back. But now it's like he's also in a weakened state, so with everything going on, despite him being pissed, like he wanted to fight on his own terms. But even Phoenix Man is like, well, this is what you get for allowing the heroes to live. It's like, you should have killed them while you had the chance. Because now that giant centipede creature shows up. And Phoenix Man is like, yes, Genos is strong, and Bong and Bomb are strong, but they won't be able to defeat the centipede thing. The only people who would have a chance, who'd be perfectly matched for it, would be Tatsumaki King, because they still believe him to be the strongest human, Metal Knight, which is so interesting considering he did technically lose, but I don't know. And 4 being Blast, because apparently Blast in this thing did fight in the past, but it ran away, and that's its main motivator. It's fighting to draw out Blast because it wants to fight Blast and get its revenge. So while it's attacking, destroying the environment, all the heroes that are knocked out, Bong, Bomb, and Genos are saving him. I love that where it's just like you see, what was it? Bong, like the ground is split open. He grabs that one hero, twirls himself with his legs spread open. I just love how that was like designed, and then he tosses the hero into the air. Genos is kind of flying and grabbing up people. You have Bomb doing his circle technique to like bust open the ground, and he's coming up with a few other heroes that fell through the ground. I love how that was done. But it was meant to be a situation of we have to take the heroes and run, but we also can't like go towards the city because we'll be putting more citizens in danger. So their plan was like, all right, we'll kind of stand and fight. Genos will like back them up as this thing's charging forward, and they use their ultimate technique that they can only use once, but it's like this powerful blending of their techniques, and they strike this thing, and we see like it ripple up, and it's cracking armor, and they keep going and going and going, and it looks like this thing's going to explode, and it does, but then like what's underneath is exposed, but immediately it like moltens, and like its hardened skin is bad. So it's like, cool, this thing just keeps coming, and Bong and Bomb are like, right, we need to just run away. But Genos is like, no, I'll handle this. And for him, it's like, I can't back down. Even if the odds are against me, like, for him, it's like, this fight against the Monster Association, this thing, and Garo, like, he's like, there are always constantly tough opponents. But he's like, my job as a hero is to fight them. This was going to be like inevitable anyway, but it's just like I'm going to still do it because it's what a hero's supposed to do. And he charges in, climbing, like running on this thing like Goku running on Snake Way, and he's blasting at it and doing everything he can, but he's not making as much of a dent in this thing. I mean, there's even the point where he like came down with his blades and like rapidly was stabbing it in his eyes. It ends up like chewing off his leg, and it grabs part of his body, and then it like cuts him in half. But Garo's just like, no, sorry, not Garo. Genos is like, no, I'm going to still see this through. Reconnects his body, does kind of like this powered up jet dive kick, breaks through its teeth inside of its body, and then erupts an explosion inside of it and trying to incinerate it from the inside. And all it does is spit him out. And despite everything, this thing is still coming. That wasn't enough. And Genos is just like, what am I lacking, Dad, if I still can't do anything against this creature? And so in that moment, Bong and Bomb grab it and run. But as they're running, they're getting closer to the city. So it's like, we can't, if we do anything, we're just going to go back to putting more people in danger. Plus, they've got to protect the heroes that are unconscious, including Genos. And for him, it's just like, here I am, sadly having to watch again from the sidelines. It's like, he doesn't recognize how strong he is, and we'll kind of get into that conversation later on like, you are tougher than you give yourself credit for. But the fact is, it's the beauty of it, and the irony of it is, like, Saitama is no longer able to grow stronger. He's no longer able to grow, but Genos is able to. And maybe that's also why, on some level, whether he recognizes it or not, he has taken such an interest in Genos, because he might not be able to grow, but he's able to watch Genos grow, and he can kind of live vicariously through him. Maybe Saitama hasn't really thought about that, but I with what he's kind of brought up this season about his issues, feels like that could narratively kind of fit, But either way, you have Bomb being like, all right, I'll put like the last remaining of my strength into this, because he was trying to buy them enough time to do, like, who knows what that would have been, but he was going to put his life on the line for this moment, go all out. But then King makes an announcement and mentions Blast, because he knows this is going to get this thing's attention. And we cut back to the Hero Association, like, oh, they're like, King must be drawing him in to try and get him, into a closer for a one-on-one fight. He asked me about, like, this thing's weakness and, like, how its history with Blast. And it's like, the moment I told him that, he said, understood. So he's running his mouth being like, yo, Blast is here, come over here, you pathetic creature, yada, yada, yada. Shit talking this thing, and it charges in, and he's like, right, we have to draw it in. He's like, Saitama! And then Saitama comes in, and with one punch, kills this thing. Just like that, one single punch, boom, erupts through the rest of the body, and this thing, and I love that you can see, like, the punch from, like, how it tore through the ground, and we can see, like, its spikes, like, some of, like, its tendrils, like, not tendrils, but, like, I guess its arms or whatever are just like sticking out of the ground from the punch. But it's like, yeah, Garo sadly wasn't awake. And also Phoenix Man, he knows there's heroes that could have done it. But once again, Saitama falls under the wayside of no one knows him for his accomplishments and stuff. So he kind of goes without any like attention. I mean, those who are awake, like Genos, Bong, and Bomb recognizes, they didn't really have any commentary, because Bong already knows like how crazy strong Saitama was to kind of defeat this thing in a single punch. But most likely the person who will get the recognition for the kill will most likely be King, because he's there and everything. So Saitama won't get the praise. King will, sadly. But But also it is kind of beautiful. It just kind of shows his growth too, where it's like, yeah, he might have been like, this might have been part of his plan and stuff like that, but it's still the situation of, it's like, right, him being courageous despite being scared, that's what Saitama has done. Unknowingly, he has inspired so many people. King, Soryu, Genos, even the guy who was part of the crew that was fighting Genos last episode. And I'd even say like he's had a powerful impact on Fubuki as well. So it is really interesting. He wouldn't, and I think that at the end of the day will probably be part of his legacy as a hero, that he is inspiring so many. I know he's supposed to be a parody and stuff like that, but there is a little bit of that conversation that kind of gets held up about Superman, especially with the most recent movie. The whole conversation of him trying to show heroes like, yo, there's a different way to do this. You can just be kind and try to help and just do right. You don't have to get caught up in all these other aspects. And yes, there's a lot of some heroes who are falling short in that manner. And even, Saitama himself is flawed and kind of gets lost and stumbles, but he gets right back up. Obviously, his biggest thing in this fight was like, because even King was like, oh, you seem refreshed. He was like, yeah, all that game stuff did kind of have me stressed out. And this King's like, you were still worrying about that with all this going on? But it's like, yeah. So, and then Genos comes over and he's like, oh, Genos, that's you over there. Like, knew we find you here. And Genos is like, tell me, Master, what am I lacking? He's like, probably power. He's like, you're absolutely right, Master. I have to get stronger. And King's like, come on, Genos, don't compare yourself to him. Because even he recognizes it's unfair. Saitama's a freak. You can't but Genos is like, right, but I think it is a beautiful goal for him to push himself to get stronger, just for the sake of helping people and trying to be the best hero he can be. It is kind of like, to outside perspective, those are in the know that's like an asinine thing, because don't compare yourself. You are strong, and yes, you can still grow and get stronger, but like I brought up, I think that's going to be the beautiful thing that Saitama unknowingly will help, not even just Genos, so many others, because even King is being positively affected by this, because it's like, oh, he has a friend, the one person he can be completely honest with about, I think Genos is in the know as well now. Maybe Saitama is the only one who actually knows for sure, but at the end of the day, King kind of has a friend, Saitama has a friend, so it's like Saitama's having quite the positive effect on people, even though he's just kind of going through life and it's just kind of like, oh, I didn't recognize I was doing all this. This is happening unintentionally. I'm just doing the thing and saying the thing I think I should say as a hero because it is what I believe. And he's inspired so many. And, King kind of, might have been quoting a manga, but what he said to Saitama like 2 episodes ago or whatever still resonated with him and it meant something to him. And I think it helped him, find some way forward. And I think we'll kind of see the continuation of that. Because even he does still have to grow in some capacities. Yeah, he may be stupidly strong, but other avenues in which he can grow as a hero are still there. And that's pretty much where things end. Obviously, the post-credit scene shows Garo is knocked out, and Phoenix Man is taking him to Orochi. So it played out like I thought, because I was about to say, I was like, there's no way they're going to wrap this up. It's just like, no, this is still early enough. I mean, I don't know in the grand scheme of things because I haven't read the manga. I don't know where we are in the grand scheme of the Monster Association arc, but I think this was kind of like the conclusion to the Hero Hunter arc. And maybe the real start to the Monster Association arc, because these arcs kind of worked in tandem with each other. And I don't know if I'd assume I think that's how it fully works in the manga too, because I did look it up just to compare and contrast. This season ends roughly maybe chapter 85, 86, something like that, based on what I was reading on Wikipedia. So we're maybe the first half of volume 17 of the manga is where this is, and I don't know where that is in a grand scheme of things in comparison to the webcomic, because I don't know how far ahead the webcomic is in comparison to the manga, because the manga currently has 220 chapters at the time of me recording this. So we're obviously, we haven't even hit the halfway point of what's been already published so far, but we're trekking along because I think in total, I didn't realize because like the volumes for these are pretty short, because it only seems like there's like maybe 4 or 5 chapters per volume, which seems like that is kind of on average, like 5 is kind of like the average. Some just depends on the series, but I wonder are the chapters for the mangas like fairly long. Maybe that's also why like there's only so many so few chapters per volume, because maybe the chapters are pretty long. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, but like I was bringing up the point, like I don't know how far ahead one is when it comes to the web comic in comparison to like manga. Is he like a little ahead? Is he just barely ahead? Is he extremely far ahead? You know, because the manga is, as I brought up, like based on my understanding, was like it's a lot more detail orientated. It takes like what one did in the web comic and then like expands upon it even more in the manga. So I'm excited to see where things go. I'd assume like maybe we'll get some other smaller little arcs here and there, but the Monster Association thing seems to be like the main overarching storyline for this upcoming season. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out, see how the Hero Association handles things going forward. What happens now that Garo's in the mix of all of this? He's kind of chose the side of the monsters. I mean, Sonic kind of did as well, but granted, all he got was diarrhea from, like, he didn't get the benefits of the monster cell because he cooked it. So, and with Garo's personality and what he wanted out of all this and kind of getting dragged along, like how is he going to like coincide with like the Monster Association? Are they going to get him to like compromise on what he believes and turn them into a monster, or will he break free? Will it kind of be like a dual thing of the Hero Association will be fighting them, but also so will Garo, because he seems like everyone can get it type of situation, because he's fought one monster this season. It was the one that was following him, the one that wanted to go after Bat's sister, but like Metal Bat's sister. Like other than that, he hasn't really fought any monsters. Like, and that's why I was curious last episode that if Bong and Bomb hadn't shown up, or like no, rather if Genos hadn't gone ahead and wiped out those monsters, that a few of them that popped up, what would Garo have done? I mean, granted, once again, he's in a weakened state, so he can't really fight back against Phoenix Man right now, but he was resisting, but he kind of gave up because, like, all his drive was, like, the adrenaline's the only thing that kept him pushing and going, and just with that kind of going, he finally passed out after everything, so. And obviously it plays into the whole thing of, oh, you want to be feared and stuff like that. That's not going to happen. You're still weak. You don't have the strength to back that up. So we'll see how all this plays out. I'm excited to see what the new season has in store for us. But yeah, I've run my mouth off long enough. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.